Thank you so much, Rachel. Welcome, everyone. I'm very excited to have this panel with all these amazing speakers, each one of them with a very specific perspective and angle to this very interesting topic. It's not every day that we talk about diversity, equality, and integration. So I'm going to open the panel, and then I would like, some questions will be guided to some of you, but please feel free to jump in and go ahead and complement the answers if you feel like it. So with no further ado, let's start by saying that diversity is an essential driver of innovation and growth in the financial space. So by making the highest echelons of financial leadership more inclusive, we can make finance more relevant and accessible to everyone, and therefore businesses more successful. So on the topics of the areas of growth and innovation, I would like to start with a question to Riana, actually. Where are you seeing most growth and innovation in this industry?
So first of all, I want to thank you for inviting me to this panel. It's my first one, so everybody bear with me. So innovation has always been the core of this modern FX industry. And I think along with the fast technological developments, it has been vital for sustained industry growth. Now, these past couple of years has forced financial industries along with other industries and sectors to, let's say, accelerate the implementation of digital tools, both internally and externally. So the industry now has started to take advantage of the opportunities that you can find through innovation and disruptive technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, cloud, blockchain, to enable them be able to provide new services and basic capabilities. So although there is still room for the traditional, let's say, financial industry and all the services that they do the traditional way, the preferences of customers have shifted dramatically. They all prefer to use an app. They all prefer to communicate through chat rather than in person. And basically, we all rely on our smartphones to do pretty much everything from banking to trading. So I believe the main growth was around the overall online experiences.
What has been the case now after COVID? The mental health, the equality, the age gap, since there were a lot of teams probably that were working on a face-to-face basis, and, some older generation can be more integrated in those spaces, and suddenly everything becomes remote. Diversity and equality is not just about gender or disabilities, it's also about age. So how have each of you been handling this situation during and after COVID, and what are you planning to do forward?
It's safe to say that the pandemic changed drastically the way that teams operate. I mean, for us, based in Australia, Australia was facing the longest probably lockdown in the whole world. Yet technology allowed us to continue operating seamlessly. We're like a cloud-based technology-focused company, so migrating to 100% remote working was very easy for us. We use tools like AWS VPN, Amazon Workspaces, and all that. So it's safe to say that the customer experience wasn't changed. The true challenge, though, was us adapting and find the way to support our employees. And because we had to change everything, how teams communicate, how the managers supervise and support and motivate their employees. So it was very difficult. And from day one, I think we handled it pretty well. We made no assumptions. First of all, we made sure that everybody had, let's say, equal access to technology. So they will be able to work from home in the same way as the other person, because what could be an obvious for one could be luxury for somebody else. Not everybody have a personal device or even a steady, let's say, internet connection at home. So we took that into account and we made sure that everybody's feel equal and included. Also, we had to factor many other things, like people grieving the loss of loved ones, kids playing in the background when you're having Zoom meetings, and people feeling quite sad and depressed. So like other companies, we had our virtual social events. So we had our Friday night game on Zoom. We had virtual drinks. We really encourage open communications and talks about mental health and well-being. That I believe it helped tremendously, and we feel that it was quite a success. But it doesn't end there. 2 years on, now we face with new issues. Now, 75% of the employees are keen to work from home. They prefer to work from home, or they prefer to do a mix of both. So again, we had to adapt, and we implemented a hybrid model that allow us to work 3 times from home if we wish to do so. And again, it has been quite the success. So despite the very hard times during the pandemic, we managed to grow. We opened a new office in Cyprus, where I'm located. We pretty much doubled the number of employees. We're quite small to medium, so that was quite substantial. And what I'm personally more proud of is that we massively increased the female hires. So it was quite successful.
Kudos to that.
Yes.
Next one is on a 2020 analysis by Mercer, who scrolled over 1,100 organizations across the world and found a leaky pipeline in women in leadership. They found out that 23% of executives are women, and we're talking in business. We're not talking global industries. Senior managers were 29%, managers 37%, professionals in general 42%, and support staff 47%. What's your take on these numbers, and what is it being done in order to strengthen them?
I can take that one.
Riana.
So unfortunately, numbers do speak for themselves. So it just seems that we can't make it to the top. It's simple as that. I was reading the other day about the non-profit organizations, and I personally believe that they were mostly led by women, and I was very surprised to see that only 20% of the top positions, even in non-profit, are held by women. So that was quite mind-blowing. So the question is, what can we actually do to fix these numbers? My opinion is basically that women that want to stay in the workforce, they just drop out. They drop out completely, or they don't seize the opportunity, they don't reach out, they just give up. And although all the seminars and the mentoring and the flexible hours and all those tools are very important and necessary, I believe the messages that we tell ourselves, tell our female colleagues, tell our daughters are even more important. So we need to begin from those. Simple messages like, sit on the table. You belong here. You have a place here. You're not out of place. It's fine for you to be here. It's one very strong message we need to pass on. Women tend to, let's say, sabotage themselves, don't believe so much in our capabilities, myself included. Often success and likability is kind of negatively correlated for women. A man is a go-getter. A man, is all these great things, but a woman that is reaching for an opportunity, she's too pushy, she's too aggressive, she's too this and that. So traditionally, we've been told that we need to be polite and gentle, and we need people to like us as women. So in our head, there's kind of something contradicting. So we really we don't know what we want to do. So it leads to men reaching for these opportunities much more. I can share a personal experience that I had when I was pretty young, when I started in the industry like 10 years ago. We went to a meeting with my then boss. I think I was 2 years in, and I was promoted to head of the brokerage department back then. So we went to a meeting. We were meeting someone for regulation reasons and all that. So my boss walks in, and the person gets up, and he asks, is the head of the brokerage joining us? to me. He assumed that I was my boss's personal assistant or I don't know what. And my boss got very mad. He told him, well, here
Pleased to
she
meet
is.
you.
Yes, yes, so pleased to meet you and all that. So when we left, my boss told me something that I still remember. He told me, Rihanna, make sure you correct them. Make sure you correct them. Stand your ground. He told me I could walk in with my pajamas and they would still assume that I am the boss. And unfortunately, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. They wouldn't make this assumption, especially in the FX industry, which is honestly very male dominated, and especially the department that I've been working on, trading desk, the brokerages and all that, still is. So make sure you correct them so they know you're there and other girls will join you going forward. So I think that's one of the most important messages we need to pass on to everybody that's thinking of joining us.
Taking notes. My last question is on predictions for 2022 and forwards. So what do you see on the DNE, DNI, everything that has to do with the world of inclusion, you from your leadership position, from your scope of englobing the whole industry trends. So how do you see this is going to go forward? What do you foresee? Rihanna?
Yes. So for me, this whole diversity, inclusion, equality, it's at some points looked as good to have as a checklist, as something that you need to have a policy in place so everybody feels nice and you feel nice and all that, but it's way much more than that. If it's just that, it's not going to work. I'm going to give an example from our company, Invast. A few months ago, we made a very conscious decision to shift our internal management structure to what we like to call the squads. So these squads, what they basically are, there's some diverse teams. What we did is we took people from different departments, of different seniority, different gender and all that, and we created some independent teams that they're responsible for core functions. So whether you come from marketing or you are an accountant, a junior or whatever, you have a say. They're all taking care of a particular project, a function, and they need to speak their mind. They need to give and take feedback and being heard. So we implemented this new, let's say, structure. It hasn't been perfect from day one, but I think this is what it's all about, trying new things, not just checking a box, getting the feedback and move forwards. And I believe that apart from us, the employees, feeling that we are included, that we have a say, the company can benefit widely from this because you create a diverse team and chances are you will be able to get closer to what your customer is looking for because you will be closer to the majority of your customers rather than just a very small let's say, chunk of your customers.
Very interesting concept indeed.
Yeah, let's see. So in 2022, I want us to perfect that. And next year, presenting, all the amazing results it brought.
Very nice.
In your careers, and this is to help me and other male leaders, why don't you just run through and give us all an example of a positive male role model that influenced you to get to where you are today?
It's not biased, but I will definitely say our current CEO at Invast Global, it has been a tremendous influence for me. He's actually the reason why I'm on this panel. I was sleeping, it was Australian hours, and by the time I woke up, I was invited to this panel. And the reason was solely because he believed that I would be a great fit for this panel. He strongly believes in me, and he keeps pushing me in the best way possible to, achieve my full potential, to, let's say, bypass anything that I have on in my head that is stopping me from doing what I want. So he believes in me and he pushes me in the best way possible. So I think that, it's very important.
Like your own mentor.
Yes, it's exactly
Mentorship,
that.
yeah.
It's exactly that. So we're off to good stuff.
One more question over here.
Hi there. Is this, yeah, okay. Walking around this right now. I see a lot of stuff, everything's Forex and everything's about trading. And right now there's a lot of digital revolutions happening. And I'm curious, what can we do as individuals and as a society to make sure that there's inclusion in the next generation of billionaires that are being created in the next 5 years with all of these new fintech, Web3, blockchain innovations? It seems a lot of people who are already in the know with technology who want to go, off the beaten path and go mine a bunch of crypto or whatever it is. It seems like some people are going to be very, very rich very soon. And how can we make sure that that's going to be an inclusive, equitable group of people who can share that?
Anybody wants to take that one?
I can try to take it again. I will just
Thank you,
give,
Riana.
yeah, my honest opinion. It's simple stuff. I'm not going to talk about diversity in general. I'm going to talk about more women, let's say. So a very small thing we can do starts from our own place, our own household, let's say. So let's say in a household that both men and women, they work equal hours, fully full 8 hours, and they have kids and all that. Women usually do 3 times the housework and the childcare. So when there's like an opportunity for them that somebody, needs to stay at home to take care of the kids, or for whatever reason, they are the obvious choice. What we need to do is break these stereotypes and normalize, let's say, the stay-at-home dads, the women that want to stay in the career, and that it's normal and all that. So once we break all the stereotypes and support and normalize that it's fine for the women to be the ones that break the bread at home and all that, I think this industry that is, let's say, it's quite rich, let's say, it will be able to have more women and more diversity in general. This is my personal take.